Okay, it says we're streaming.
Do I look nice?
I don't know, bro.
Better look nice.
Freaking.
Give me Justice iPhone camera.
There should be a way. Okay, here we go.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of the news going on right now is just like distractions to what's really happening right in our faces.
Right? Especially with AI, I feel like anyone could create anything. Like Ugos Chugos, the one of the first the Cusqueño YouTuber.
Mm.
When the first pictures came out, he was like, "Oh, this is definitely AI. Like this is not real pictures of Maduro getting captured."
Oh, really?
Yeah. So everything's so distorted.
Just the whole thing's fabricated.
Yeah.
He's just really in an island, the Virgin Islands, just chilling.
Right.
They're like, all right, we're gonna say we captured you. You're gonna post the pictures,
Right.
but really you're just gonna be chilling in the islands.
Yeah. Yeah, and also
Like
what one thing that's crazy to think about is like I also saw a bunch of content of like Venezolanos leaving Peru, you know, leaving like leaving their boyfriends and girlfriends behind, all the Peruvians they met. Like imagine just leaving one country that you fled to and just going back to Venezuela thinking that Maduro really got captured, and then at the end you get there and you find out that like no, it's he hasn't been captured.
Yeah, who's taking power now? Some lady, right?
Well, the Chavismo. What I understand is that the Chavismo still exists. Because there was another president prior to Maduro named Hugo Chavez, who was also very his politics were very contested, you know, and right? I'm not sure he was a socialist. That's something that you can actually fact check as we talk about, but but something that happened during that time is that Chavismo, the political.
I feel like we should know this,
but the Chavismo still exists. So that Chavismo structure, although Maduro has been removed, is still there. You know, those political structures are still there. So although you take out the head, like the system is still there, and so therefore, like that's what's so contested about these interventions that the U.S. does in other foreign countries is that like many times they'll just take out the head, thinking that they're gonna solve everything, and of course they're going after the oil, but like the political structure still remains there. So how is it that the U.S. is going to continue to intervene and continue to stabilize the country when like the country needs to be self-sufficiently stable? You know, like it's just
gonna be like corruption that everyone's okay with because they can't do anything about it. Pretty much.
Yeah.
I think so. What I hear is for the two sides is one side is like, hey, this is just the way the world works, and America needs to be on top for things to actually flourish and change under whatever presidency. And the other side is just like, what just happened? How are we letting this just happen in front of us? And pretty much is like, if they do this to this person, imagine what they could do to other people, you know? That's why I think the Colombian president is just...
Or like, to other countries.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or pretty much, I think it's what they did to Libya, right? Pretty much they're just like, yeah, we don't like that you're like becoming very self-sufficient and independent. So yeah, we're going to have to take you out. But it says right here, Chavez, left-wing populist, democratic socialist. Yeah.
It looks like he governed from 1999 to 2013. Orientación socialista, so he was a socialist. And it was later on that Nicolás Maduro, since 2013, took over.
How did that transition?
That's interesting. I actually don't know too much about that either.
I feel like that fool would not let that power go.
Yeah, didn't Hugo Chavez die out of something?
How did
No, but I mean, just to fill in really quick, like what I think is fascinating between as you do some of that research is that I remember clearly when I was doing my MBA program, there was a golpe de estado, a coup that happened with the old president of Bolivia, and when they took him out, the lithium companies and the Tesla stocks also shot up the next day or two. Just like right now, Venezuela stocks are going up because of all these things happening. Like the lithium stocks for lithium companies as well as Tesla shut up. So I think there's definitely some interesting components in regarding to sustainability that like people need to become more aware about. Like at the end of the day, what we're talking about is natural resources, whether it's oil or lithium in Bolivia or Venezuela, that the U.S. is trying to get a hold of. And they oftentimes destabilize countries so that they put more leaders in power that are going to be pro, getting those resources out and shipping them overseas because the U.S. war machine and the infrastructure needs it, So it's, I just wanted to add that because I know that to be true based on a lot of research that I did. What did you find out?
Okay, so it says that while he was going through his cancer treatment, he publicly asked supporters to back him up. So pretty much she was just like, yeah, take this, let this guy take over. And then Chavez died on March 5th, 2013. Damn. R.I.P. Chavez. Damn.
Does it say how he died?
I'm sure it's cancer. Because it says he's going through cancer treatment.
Well, the reality...
Probably from all that oil.
From that oil. Yeah.
R.I.P.
Well, the reality is that, like, although we're not in Venezuela right now because we're in the Sacred Valley in Cusco.
I wonder what it's like to live there, dude.
In Venezuela. Yeah, I mean, so many people have left Venezuela, right? I saw some chart online of how many people left Venezuela. It's called like the Venezuela diaspora of where they went.
Yeah.
And the top two countries was Colombia and Peru was the second one. So most of the Venezuelans went to Colombia and then Peru. So
yeah, I mean, I don't think most people know this in the States, but like you go to Peru, you go to Colombia, fucking Venezolanos por todo lado.
There's a lot of Venezolanos.
Yeah, and I don't think people know that. Just like, I don't know. Yeah. It's crazy. Because you don't really think about it. You're like, oh, it's just Venezolanos, like, But then you're like, all right, what happened for that to, occur?
Like what series of events took place for them to leave their country?
Yeah. I think, dude, Americans, I don't think they understand. Like, imagine if it was reversed, like the roles reversed. Like Americans were the ones that had to flee everywhere because some just catastrophic event happened or like government, political, social thing happened in America. Like, you know how like weird that would be? That'd be such a turn of events.
Yeah. I mean, I guess one can argue that it's already happening, right? That's why we have so many people that are leaving as expats or as digital nomads that are just fed up with how much expensive the world has become in the U.S., right? We're talking about healthcare,
right.
child support,
freaking. I mean, the shit, that's
insurance.
Us. I mean, that's me for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that was part of the reason why I was fed up with the U.S. too, and that's why I'm here right now. Because I'd rather be outside the U.S. where I'm not paying all that stuff.
Yeah, and just I mean, I've been traveling for a while, just down south from the States, and I mean all sorts of kids, and they're pretty much having the same crisis where they're just like, dude, like something just not clicking where I'm from, whether it's in England, whether it's in Australia. They know they need to come back at some point, but in their hearts, they know that like where they're at, where it's Peru, Mexico, Guatemala, they just feel like they can actually like live, and I don't think that's a big disconnect I feel with my parents, just like, baby boomers and stuff. Like they've had such a different perception of America where it's actually affordable to live and actually things are like able to, conspire and actually like work, while we just have a totally different reality, which is like, I don't even think the idea of buying a house was just, I'm just like, nah, like that's not gonna happen for me, especially in the States. I just don't see that reality because it's just so expensive for like a wooden box. Like what?
Yeah, because it chains you to a loan, right? Like,
Exactly.
and you have to work every day to pay back that loan, and like that's your livelihood,
right.
to be able to keep up just one house.
Yeah.
Whereas,
Just the numbers are not adding up.
yeah, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to do that. Yet everyone's on that race, right? The rat race of freaking making some money in the U.S. and climbing the corporate ladder, you know?
Yeah. I also see this argument where it's like the U.S. needs to pretty much box out China from Venezuela as like, you know, for just
Resources.
security.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, security really? Like, okay, sure, let's go that way.
But it's really resources.
No, for sure. But like, I hear the argument, or I've seen the argument that it's like, yeah, because like, look, they're pretty much just like down there, like doing what, you know, because they're friends with Venezuela, you know. And I'm just like, all right, well, let's go with that argument.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like during Biden, we've let in so many Chinese military age, like pretty much guys, and they've been buying government land around, or no, they've been buying land around government land. So it's like something that is definitely not talked about. So it's just like, is it really that, or is it just like?
You mean the Chinese inside the U.S.?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know about they like seen just camps of them in like Panama, crossing Colombia, in the Darien Strait, and there's like literally specific camps just for just Chinese, and like people have interviewed them, and they have like the app on their phone that pretty much tells them where to go, and just like what? And we've let all these people in, so is it really that, or like, you know, can we just say it's oil and get it on with the day, you know?
Yeah. One thing that I think is connected to all this is cryptocurrencies, right? Like, I was seeing a chart the other day that like Venezuela has a lot more crypto than the U.S. So if the U.S. is seizing Venezuela and its assets, then it's also seizing all that Bitcoin, you know? And that's a bunch of like there's the whole oil, right, aspect of it, but like also Bitcoin, like for many people in Venezuela, like some people that I even hired were like, you know, they're not managing the currency over there. They're using Bitcoin, they're using cryptos because it's a lot more stable for their economies, right? Or dollars, or even soles sometimes, right?
True.
Because it's more stable.
What is the currency in?
Yeah, but what I was trying to get at too also is like this disconnect, what that you were saying, like it doesn't make sense to buy a home in the U.S. and blah blah blah. Like, what I heard in all that was also like this concept of universal base income. You know, like I think that's where we're heading with this world.
Which is so crazy to think about, because it's just like, what?
Yeah,
you know.
But what's even crazier to think about is like how many jobs were created as a result of the tech boom. Like, for example, when you think of places like Pakistan or Indonesia, like there's data centers, but there's also like work centers, you know, where people are just chugging away at a bunch of stuff online. So like if AI does take over, like who's going to pay for the universal basic income of all those people who are now dependent on the jobs that are created online, you know, like that whole sector is just going to have to figure out another way to make money, you know?
They're going to have to go somewhere, and it's not going to look pretty. At least I don't think so. Well, I just looked. The official currency of Venezuela is the Venezuela Bolivar, symbol BS.
And how much is it worth right now?
BS, bro. How much is it worth? Let's see. Universal income is, I don't know. I've heard Elon talk about it briefly. I don't even know what to think about it. He's like, yeah, AI is gonna, we don't have to work anymore, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, like,
someone's gonna have to do the work
like,
to
again,
grow the food,
math
right?
The math isn't mathing for me. Just thinking of it like at a basic level.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Let's see. Very weak relative to the U.S. dollar. Official mid-market rate, 300 to 312 bolivares is $1. So it's 0.0032, roughly 0.3 cents. Damn. Yeah, they don't even use that shit over there, right? They use the dollar.
Yeah. It says here that 100 bolivares is 1 sol. And 1 sol is worth about a third of a dollar. More or less.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing that happened yesterday too, when we were having dinner, I went into my my MBA colleagues had like a gathering.
Yeah.
And all of them were in freaking their own desks, you know? They were all tuning in from their desks, and I was the one guy that was on the Zoom call from the back of a truck in Peru. I thought that
I thought you were getting kidnapped, bro. They're like,
who the heck is this?
Was your camera on?
Yeah, I had my camera on too to make a point, you know. And a few people, a few people, what's it called? Messaged me afterwards through LinkedIn and they wanted to connect because I was just being true to myself, you know. Whereas I think the rest of the people were there for either jobs or making some business connection.
Really?
Yeah. It's interesting. I went into one of the rooms and they were asking like, okay, make sure to deliver your ask now. And people were like, oh, you know, like I'm going to deliver this, robotic. That. And I just tapped in the chat because I had weak connection. And I was like looking for like a reciprocal relationship where we can like build each other up and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that's a nice ask, you know, just for a relationship.
Looking for a good hang.
Yeah, like why is it that we have to get straight into business? Why not start with a relationship?
Literally,
like,
bro.
Let me just find out what your favorite food is first, you know?
Just who you are. Like, what's your even last name? Like, yeah.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about your history, your family history. Like, what do you know about yourself? You know?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. And I think that dives really into like self-awareness, you know. And when it comes to the sustainability and climate change and all that, like that's one of the biggest things you could do for yourself is start with yourself and change yourself, like how you interact with the environment, how you interact with other people, and ultimately like how you interact with Mother Nature, with Pachamama. Like how much do you really consume, you know, like how dependent are you to other systems and things like that. Which is very much related to Maduro and everything else, because like the amount of the consumption that occurs in the U.S. is just enormous. You know, I remember when I was still in the U.S., like gas prices were at like almost $5 a gallon.
So crazy.
You know, and now with Maduro, like probably it'll go down back to like 4 or maybe even 3.30, depending what state or city you're in. But it's just another Band-Aid in the problem. Like, that's not going to solve much, you know? And it's crazy to think how many people in the U.S. have, like, their own cars, you know? Their own cars, their own houses, all running just super individualized, you know? Everyone needs their own space. And yet, like...
Well, not to say those things are bad, because like once, like I don't want to sound like we're like turning like low key socialists or anything like that. Like, that's great that they have the option, but just like, okay, at like what point, you know, is this too much? Like, it's already too much. Just we're so deep in it that we can't do, like, people just can't. They're too focused on just surviving. They can't be environmentally conscious. You know, it's very hard for them, at least. Let alone just being exposed to that kind of information, or just have the luxury to be like that. When really it isn't. I don't think it is. If you really just look into the basic things like, I don't know, compost, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, look at the example here, man. We're like in Urubamba, we're like the casera, like, probably doesn't even have a car, but like, grows her own food. You know, like sells her the remaining that she has at the market that where we go and buy, like has her own composting area. And I think many people in the Western world would probably call her like low income and at risk and this and that and the other, but like
At risk.
they're living a very sustainable life,
Yeah.
like the worst thing they probably do is like use too many plastic bags and like throw away their trash in the wrong place, but that's because there's no system that's adequate around here. Asides that, like I can't think of something that they're doing that's worse. Like,
y señora, si estás viendo esto, you gotta do better, yo. You gotta do better.
sort your ways out, bro. Plastic on the side, compost on the side. Come on.
Yeah, we're just leaving a bad testimonial right now.
No, I actually think it's a really great testimonial.
She's cool.
Because when you compare the livelihood of a casera here or anyone that's living in the Sacred Valley, like compared to how much waste and pollution is generated by someone who's in a similar situation in the U.S., like
right,
it's black and white,
I do think like this is totally off track, but like just being okay. So the Sacred Valley is pretty much right outside of Cusco. Cusco is like pretty much the epicenter of tourism in Peru,
where everyone goes to.
To go see Machu Picchu, which is like
it's the third largest city in
all
Peru.
That stuff. Yeah,
right.
Google it, okay?
Educate yourself. Educate yourself.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
We just had a really sick train crash. Check it out. Anyways, it's right outside.
We need to have an episode that we just talk about that train crash.
We'll get to it.
If you want to get our opinions on this train episode,
so embarrassing. So embarrassing as a Peruvian. All right, we'll just leave it at that. But anyways, the Sacred Valley's out there. There's beautiful mountains around. We call them apus. The translation is literally apus, right? Mountains.
Yeah, apu.
In Quechua, look that up. And just seeing that, like,
and it's not Apu from The Simpsons.
No,
okay?
no.
It's not Apu from The Simpsons,
bruh.
Just let me give them some seats to water, because otherwise they're gonna go in a different direction.
For sure.
So here we have many goddesses. Okay, we don't have like one Jesus Christ, kind of like in the U.S. you have Trump.
Jesus
like,
Christ.
Over here we have many different goddesses, and one of them, like a rock, could be a goddess. The water is a goddess. We believe in Mother Nature. And one of those things, the center of an ecosystem where the water starts and where life really starts, that's the mountain. And that mountain is called an apu. And it has a long story of having a big resemblance traditionally, spiritually, historically. And these apus can be found all around the Andes Mountains. And around here we have many as well. And they are really important to not only us, me as a person, but also to the society in general. So
yeah, I mean, fresh water comes from them, so it's just like think about generations ago. They're just like, oh my gosh, like thank you, And by the way, this is in Quechua. Quechua is the indigenous language of
one of the indigenous
languages.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, shout out the apus.
Shout out the
apus one time. Love y'all. Thanks for the water. But what was I saying? Yeah, that's just like the scenery. Just think about an average American. I don't know, in fucking Texas. Just nothing around. I mean, okay, not Texas. Let's say Roseville, California. Yeah. You don't see much nature. I mean, yes, there's the grasslands out by Lake Lincoln. You go to Rockland, there you see a little hill here, but it's just like you don't see the majesty of what we're fortunate enough to see. And like, I don't know, when I see that stuff and I'm like, damn, I'm really out here in the nature, out here in the real world. And I don't know, I just think about nature more. And
yeah,
when that's taken away from you, I could only imagine by fall, you're just like, oh, whatever, city life, Netflix subscription. Yeah, literally.
I mean, the flip side of that is that, as you know, when I went to visit like Urubamba Valley and other reservations around the U.S. That are inside the U.S., but they don't belong in the U.S.
Yeah.
Like you very much feel connected to nature.
Yeah.
So it's not like people in the U.S. don't have the opportunity to be connected to nature. It's just that like they're part of a system that has
They're just too
split them
focused on
away from nature.
They're just too focused on being survival, man. You know.
You mean the people that are?
Yeah, just the day to day Joe who has a family or is trying to like has a kid. He's got to clock in at 6 a.m. or wake up and just grind, and just like
it's the system. Yeah. I think they're trapped in a system.
Oh, for sure.
That forces them to be in a survival mode. You know, sure. Like I just need to pay my bill, and like that's the rat race, right?
Yeah, and you know when you keep a population in survival mode, they don't have the ability to
get out of the system.
They don't. It's harder for them to be out of that system, question that system,
right?
You know, and you know, yeah. So, not trying to throw shade on y'all, but it's just that's what it is.
Yeah, it's difficult to look beyond that. What I was trying to get at is that like, if you are lucky enough to meet people who will show you a different way, there's definitely beauty within Turtle Island, modern day U.S., Canada, and Mexico. You know,
Turtle Island.
Yeah, that's what they call it, Turtle Island.
What
the original name of the land where today you see the U.S., Mexico, and Canada.
Turtle Island.
It was called Turtle Island.
By who?
By the native people before.
Really?
Yeah, it was called Turtle Island.
Turtle Island.
Yeah,
like the turtle.
Yeah, it's really? Like.
Was there a lot of turtles around?
No, it's just the shape of a turtle. Like if you look at it at a map, like go on Google and just type in Turtle Island, and you'll find that it looks like a turtle island. But what I'm trying to get at is for example, like Roseville, that's the land of the Nisenan people in Sacramento, and each of these areas in modern day U.S., like they all have native people that are there. So like, yes, you may be trapped in a system that is pushing you to pay your bills, pay your mortgage, yada, yada, yada. And also, like, at the same time, there's people who are, like, well connected to nature who have ways to address a lot of the problems that we see in society today.
Yeah.
And I think it takes a lot of conscience for you to get in touch with those people and start becoming part of that reality that still exists today.
Right.
At the same time, like, I still remember going to, like, Wood Creek High School and reading, like, books where it basically talked to you about, like, the Native American experience or the African American experience in, like, one paragraph in a whole book, you know? So, like, when the system, the educational system has you trapped that way, then you limit your understanding of the world in the U.S. to only that, because that's what you only know, you know, living in a suburb, living in a city. Like, that's all you know. So imagine then, right? Like, if that's what's true, imagine then how much you don't know about what's happening in Venezuela with Maduro, in Bolivia with the previous president. I can't recall his name right now, but in Peru, because also there's a lot of mining that's happening in Peru, right? Here in near the area, there's copper, there's not much lithium, but the copper for sure. It's like infrastructure that you need for AI. So like, if you're not opening up yourself and establishing relationships, aka subscribe and follow this channel, because we're gonna go visit some of this. But seriously though, like, if you're not in a relationship with those people, then your experience and your understanding and your understanding of the world is just zoom. Like, that's all you're seeing, like just an eye. Whereas, like, as you can see, we have a freaking little llama over here. We have
this is Maduro.
Yeah, we're naming this little guy Maduro. And like, you get to experience a little bit of, like, I don't know. Another thing that comes up for me is, like, if you live in that experience, right, that you're saying, like, you're feeling trapped and survival, like, then all you can really lean into to find out information is media, social media, or like what people say, or like news, right?
Just people's takes, yeah.
And what those people are going to tell you about, and I'm kind of pivoting towards one topic, is like coca leaves. Like, what are they going to tell you? Oh, it's like cocaine and this and that and the other, right? And like, that's what media is going to tell you. And so by the time that you meet someone like me, that you meet someone from the Andes who, you know, is using coca pretty much like every day to chew and get better with the stomach to support yourself with altitude sickness, like you already have a wrong picture of me. But the reality is that like this is a plant that's super important socially. It has great health benefits, and like you don't get to experience any of that or get to know it unless you meet someone like us, unless you go travel to the Andes,
right,
and taste it yourself. And like that's the result of like these systems that are forcing us to be disconnected, you know. And that's why I think it's good that we're doing this YouTube live stream, because like
right,
last night when I was talking to my MBA colleagues, like no one really wanted to talk about it. No one talked about it in Venezuela. I was the one that was like, hey, this is a sustainability issue, you know?
Yeah.
And many people in other spaces too, like whether it's entrepreneurship or maybe it's like legal stuff, like people don't want to talk about it in a systems way where like everything is connected. And I think that we need to talk about that. Like why else would we be using like technology? Like we might if we have technology, we might as well use it for good, you know, to like talk about these issues in a holistic way.
There's interconnectivity within just all these issues when it's brought into conversation.
Yeah.
It might not be directly related, but at some point there is some kind of tie.
Yeah.
And information is just power. It's key. I don't know, I was totally off track, but I was just thinking about like who even was McGraw-Hill, which was one of the major education publishers that I remember. I was looking at all my textbooks. I'm like this is all curriculum, you know? What was I learning in school? What was I really being taught in school, you know? And obviously you can't cover all the subjects, but I definitely feel like they definitely could, especially history, but we just skimmed right through it.
Who was that?
Let's see. In California public schools, textbooks are selected through a statewide adoption process. Publishers submit programs aligned to the California curriculum standards, and the State Board of Education approves specific series.
Oh, you're talking about like the educational system in the U.S.?
Yeah, specifically the textbooks.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, like you said, like one part of you said, like a paragraph of U.S. history was just a paragraph.
Yeah.
And it just skips over like so many events.
So many things, right?
And I think understanding and knowing your history is vital to, one, your curiosity and just being informed, seeing the patterns that have occurred within humanity, you know? Because a lot of this shit just repeats, man. Whether it's war, just anything, psyops.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for that. And what comes to mind for me is one of my good friends, Thomas. I feel like he would be saying charter schools, because that's what charter schools were when they were like, if you want to call it integrating, but when they took a lot of the children from the tribes and made them learn English, that's what charter schools were established for, you know?
Yeah.
To just teach them to become English speakers and learn the history of the U.S.
Right.
Thinking that like they don't know the history of Turtle Island, like, and that's what comes up for me is like, I think in some level that there's a parallel between that and also what you see here in Peru today too, because in the schools they also get taught certain things about. I feel like that's what the topic of. It kind of gets into the topic of what's it called, nationalism. There's so much nationalism that's embedded in schools everywhere you go, because they teach you how to do the national anthem,
Right.
the different areas that you have in each country. You know, they kind of start building up your identity from then on, you know?
Right. Which I don't think nationalism is necessarily bad. Especially if like a country is built on certain values, like America's built on Christian values and stuff like that, or is said to be. And, you know, like I said, I don't think it's necessarily bad, but at least be honest with like history and just be transparent about it.
I would argue they can't do both though.
They can't. Obviously they can't, but like
Because if you're honest about the history, then it kind of undermines
Right,
the whole.
right. But regardless, I think now it's changed because there's so much just information that is accessible to kids. Like they're gonna find out either way, and
It's definitely changing, yeah.
and I think just be okay with that. Like just I don't know, just realize that it's inevitable that the kids are gonna find out the truth about whatever the U.S. did and stuff like that. I think having an honest conversation for the next generation, they can have better decision makers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is gonna be hard because like the military industrial complex is gonna be very much like, no, we're good. We want to keep going.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Because I mean, yeah, you hit on a lot of different points, but like, yeah, I don't know, like, I just don't see why, with more time coming along, like I don't see how nationalism is gonna be part of the solution. I just think it's gonna be more of a reason for us to fight amongst each other. Whereas, like maybe in the 1950s or whenever it was that it worked and there was cooperation, I think maybe maybe there was some benefit there, but I don't know. Like going back to the Maduro example, right? Like right now, supposedly he's in the U.S., right, going through some trial, right? Like
he's there stuck with
like,
Diddy.
how is it that nationalism is gonna help in this case where the U.S. is doing a trial on a president that is not from the U.S., right? That they basically kidnapped, and the court that judging them is like other people who have an interest in the U.S. Like that doesn't seem fair to me. Same thing in the international courts. Like the people that have power over those international courts is the U.S. So like it's hard to punish someone that's doing bad when law is on their side. I did remember the president that I was referring to from Bolivia. His name was Evo Morales.
Right.
And he was very much a president that was for Pachamama. I think he made some interesting interesting initiatives around specifically that. But in 2019, right before I graduated from Presidio, like he got overthrown, and this was the president that I wanted to mention because after that, Tesla stocks just shot up, and that's because within Bolivia you have the highest concentration of lithium in the world, and lithium is needed to make the batteries for laptops, for electric cars, for many things, and one of those is of course Tesla. So the days after his coup, where he got overthrown, Tesla stocks just shot up, and so there is your factual, like go online and look up the S&P 500 or whatever you want to see in terms of performance of markets back then. But there's your data that shows that like these topics are not isolated. They're very much sustainability topics. And yeah, it's all connected to what's happening now with Maduro in today. So
yeah, I wonder how he's holding up in there.
Yeah.
That's probably the fastest regime change that I've, I don't know, probably experienced in my lifetime.
You mean taking a president out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost like hats off to them, dude. Like, damn. They just did it like that.
I think it had been coming though from
for sure.
From what I know, that the US was putting like military bezels around Venezuela already, so
yeah, but I'm just thinking in terms of like how fast it just happened.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Right.
Really just shows you capabilities.
You mean of the military from the US?
Or just how determined we are. Like, I'm just thinking about at what point was this like really on Trump's table or on his desk and was like, all right, so this is what's going to go down. He's like, okay, sounds great.
Yeah.
And it just happened.
Yeah. Well, we probably won't find out the truth of what actually happened until like 10 years from now, because that's usually how history works.
I mean, what do you mean by the truth? Meaning like them admitting that?
No, just like, you know, when just looking back at history, like when things happen, usually the actions take place by some big force like presidents or governments, right? Mm-hmm. And when those actions take place, it's very much like classified information.
Right.
So those classified information don't get released many, many years later. And then that actual quote unquote truth comes out, you know? Because right now, well, in the world of AI, in the world of, you know, a bunch of media that's shooting everywhere at us, like we can only have a certain understanding of what's happening, you know, how it actually went down.
Well, I don't think it takes the government to admit anything because they've lost so much credibility over the last couple of years.
The U.S. government?
Yeah. I mean, like, I think we already know the truth now amongst the people, you know? I mean, just right when it happened, it was just like, oh, okay, yeah, we saw this coming, you know?
Right.
But, I mean, like, the Epstein files came out, half of it's black. So it's just like, okay, so what kind of credibility do you have? Like, nothing really. I mean, sure, maybe down the road, if, you know, the world's still here, they'll be like, okay, yeah, it was for the oil.
Right.
And then what? You know, it's just like, all right, cool. We already knew that.
Yeah. No, I just remember reading different books about this, and like in previous attempts when like the U.S. tried to kill one of the who was it in Cuba? They tried to like poison his food and shit like that. Like
Castro?
I think it was Fidel Castro. Yeah.
They tried to kill him a bunch of times.
Yeah, but none of that was documented. You know, none of that was released, and it wasn't until a decades later that like
when it's so irrelevant.
Yeah, at that point, then the details came out. You know, so I get what you were saying. Like, I think I know inside me that there's been a big change that everyone believes in is happening, right? And that's why we're making this topic like the center of this video. But like the details of how it went down, like the true details of how it went down, that's probably the information that's not gonna come out and to the general public, to common knowledge, until many years later, you know. Yeah. Anyway, do you have anything else to add to today's stream?
I did see something about like some lady got killed by ICE in Minnesota.
Oh yeah.
I honestly don't even want to talk about that, but I think I do have to say is like, it feels like news has just become rage bait, or just world events have become rage bait. You know what rage bait?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, like, again, it feels like a distraction. Like, even though like to most people it would be like, oh my God, how did that happen? La la la. It's just like, I don't know. The U.S. just makes me sad sometimes.
Yeah.
These things are actually just happening. Oh, Trump said that what's it called? Private equity can't buy family homes anymore. You hear about that?
No.
He's literally put a restrictions, pretty much telling BlackRock, hey, stop
buying homes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He's like, people live in homes, not corporations.
Yeah.
Which I'm just like, what's really happening here? You know, because Larry Fink definitely has ties with Trump and God knows what else.
It's kind of like
there's no way this is happening.
Yeah.
There's something going on.
It's like Trump trying to stop market forces from happening, and I'm not sure that that's going to work.
And then it says President Trump has cut the U.S. trade deficit in half, lowest in many years.
Right. It's a big challenge. I'm not sure.
Sounds like Borat, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. I again, there's definitely two sides to the story.
Yeah. Well, what I wanted to add is that, like, to just wrap things up, is that like today's topic was very much global and international and freaking, for the most part, I think, negative. But it's truth.
We're trying. I mean, we could throw a positive spin to it.
I guess so. Yeah.
I think a little positive news. Trying to think. New year.
New year. Yeah.
New me.
New me.
New
you. Yeah.
But
hey, if you have any questions, comments, leave them in the comment section below. And we're planning on going live for the next month. So if you want to put a topic in front of us that we can discuss, that would be great. And also, we also have like a couple ideas of other topics we want to discuss. We recently went to
a sick ass coffee farm.
Which is really cool. And
dope.
We're gonna get a video out on coffee soon. So that's one thing we did. That's coming up next. The other is that like another topic that's interesting to me is like the opportunities that come with the international airport that is being built here in Cusco, but also the old one is retiring. So they're going to turn that into a green infrastructure project. And that has a lot of, we can talk about that for hours basically. So that's another one that's coming up down the pipe. Mm-hmm. And if you have any other suggestions or ideas, please shoot them our way. We're trying live streaming today at what is midday in Cusco. Some other days we're going to try to do it at night because I know a lot of people in California get off work at around 5, 6. So that's the time to go into live stream. So we'll try some of those. Then if that's you, then leave us like a like or a comment below so that we know to live stream then. Anything else you want to share before we go eat lunch?
R.I.P. Charlie Kirk. Not for real though. That's it. I think on a positive note, New Year. I hope everybody's just, locked in, back on their BS and trying to make the most out of it. I think just a reminder that life is great, life is exciting, and we should always just enjoy the time we have.
Yeah. If you can't go out today in nature, go be in nature, and that'll be healthy for you. Disconnect from...
Yeah, leave your phone at home.
Yeah, leave your phone at home.
Breathe.
Take a breath. Go look at some animal that's out there. Freaking... also, something really cool to do on the weekend is grab a trash bag. You'll feel amazing, guaranteed. Grab a trash bag, go out into some nature area or even just the street and go pick up some trash.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing. The other day we went out with my family while they were here and Jamil too. We picked up 3 bags of trash?
3 bags of trash.
Just
3 solid bags.
Yeah. It took us 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And the spot was looking way better than when we got there. So you should definitely try and do that. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Yep.